Today we are looking at the wrong mistakes or the wrong mindset people have before entering relationships. A lot of people have erroneous reasons for entering relationships, and like I always say, if you enter into relationship with the wrong motive or the wrong reasons, then you are most likely going to enter in it with the wrong person. Simply put, if you marry the wrong person for the wrong motive, then you are probably with the wrong person even in the first place. And the reason why this topic of wrong reasons why people enter into relationship is very paramount and chief is because one of the greatest choices you ever make on earth that can have dire consequences in your life now and even your future is your choice of a life partner. The reason is because amongst all choices you make with regards to relationships, you didn't have the option to choose your parents. You didn't have the option to choose your siblings. You ended up with them anyway. Whether they are nuisances, whether they are pain in the ass, you still ended up with them anyway. However, when it comes to the choice of a partner, you have that decision to make, and I think you have to do it rightly, okay? So if you enter into a relationship with the wrong motive or with the wrong reasons, you are likely going to enter into it with the wrong person. So the first wrong reasons why people enter into relationship is because the person said so. You are in a relationship with someone because the person gaslighted you into it. You are in a relationship with someone because you yourself, you know you were not ready for it, but you met the person probably at an event, in a conference, or at a gathering, and the person liked your vibe, you liked the person's vibe. You were not mentally and psychologically prepared to enter into a relationship with the person. However, in the course of friendships and all, the person takes you out, the person toasts a proposal to you for a relationship. It is not something that, number one, you were ready for. Number two, you were not even considering the person in the first place, but you decided to go with the flow because the person said so. The question I want to ask you is that what happened to your free will? Were you actually preparing yourself for the relationship in the first place? Because if you did not prepare yourself for it, then the relationship can be a disaster going to happen. So the wrong reasons why people enter into relationship is just because the person said so, just because the person coerced you into one, just because the person gaslighted you into one, just because the person manipulated you into one. But in and of yourself, you wouldn't have considered entering into a relationship now, or you wouldn't have considered entering into a relationship with this particular person. You need to respect your free will. And like I always say, it takes two to tango. One of the signs that the relationship is healthy, is sane and sound, is that both of you are in love with each other, is that both of you are interested in the relationship. It is not because they had to force you into that relationship, but because you loved the person in and out of it. Otherwise, if the person had to force you to enter into the relationship with him or her, that means that the person must always be pleading with you for you to continue this journey with them. So that is a wrong reason for entering into a relationship. Enter into a relationship because you are also interested in the person, and number two, because you are also prepared for the relationship. The second wrong motive why people enter into relationship is because of the fear of waiting forever. So people think that they are aging, people think that their biological clock is ticking. As a result of that, they would want to enter into a relationship with the nearest passerby, with anyone who comes their way, because they've given themselves a deadline in terms of their age, in terms of achievements and success. So far as any individual passes their line, when they think their time is up, they would go with the flow, regardless of who the person is or what the person represents. And this fear of waiting forever is what breeds desperation in a lot of people in our generation. So you are entering into a relationship not from a standpoint of fulfillment, not from a standpoint of purpose, not from a standpoint of having a direction and a goal for your life and the relationship, but because you feel your biological clock is ticking, because you feel you are aging, because you feel there is no one around. So any available person, you are going to go with the flow. But I want to admonish you, see, no relationship is better than a bad relationship. So I would advise that it is better for you to be alone and happy than to be in a relationship and miserable. That is why a no relationship is better than a bad relationship. And like I always say, if you've waited for this long, then you better get it right. So better wait long than date wrong. I'm repeating myself. Better wait long than date wrong. The most miserable people we have in the system or in society are not those who are not in a relationship and they think something is wrong with them. It is those who are in relationships yet they are not being fulfilled in that relationship. It was better you were alone and happy with your single life than to be in a relationship and miserable, because that means your mental health is at stake. So you should never enter into a relationship just because you think that time is not on your side, just because you are afraid. And I understand the truth of the matter is that, especially for our women, the more you age, there is that sometimes your pool of dating begins to shrink, which may be true. But the truth of the matter is that you don't need all men. It's just one man you need. And no matter how old you are getting, there are still people who will find you interesting or who will find interest in you. So don't think that because you are aging, don't think that because you are growing old, don't think that because your biological clock is ticking, you need to find the nearest person available and date the person or enter into a relationship with the person. No, you only need one man or one woman out of this multitude. That means you can actually find them. You can actually attract the right person if you can take that fear factor out of your life. I love this popular word in the Bible that says that He makes all things beautiful in His own time. That means that there is a timing for you. There is a time and chance that happens to all people and everyone and everything under the sun. So I think if you can be patient with yourself and take away the fear factor and be patient and prepare yourself, I believe that you are definitely going to meet the right person, but not out of fear and desperation, but because you are actually prepared for this person. Then that brings us to the next wrong motive or reasons why people enter into relationships, because they feel left out. Unfortunately, we have moved from peer pressure into social media pressure. So it is not a case that your friends are even pressurizing you to enter into a relationship, whether actively or passively. But it's the case that because you see a lot of couple goes online, people do relationships for clout and for attentions and all, the moment you begin to see those things actually keep you depressed, keep you anxious into thinking that why not you? Why not me? When is my day going to come? When is my time going to come? When is it going to be my turn? Because of the feeling of being left out, because of the feeling of being rejected and dejected, because of the feeling of you not being attractive to others, there is that desperation, there is that tendency for you to enter into relationships just because it is available, not because you are taking your time to make the best of choice. And I think that is unhealthy for you. Sometimes your friends may make you think or wish that you were in a relationship because you check around and all of them are. And the truth of the matter is that, you see, you can't tell the quality of the relationship just because the person is in one. Because like I always say, relationship is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It doesn't matter how or when you began. What matters is how you finished. I repeat myself. Relationships, a quality and a healthy one, is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So it doesn't matter who began first or how they began. What is most important is how well you finish. So you shouldn't allow the pressure from your friends or your siblings to gaslight you into entering into a relationship just because you need to be in one and there is that fear that you are being left out. One of the things or the qualities that makes you unique and original is that you don't allow the circumstances around or the temptations around or the tendencies around to influence your choices and your decision, especially when it comes to making a lifetime projection on this person you are going to be with. Some of your friends are dating just for mere experience. Some of them are dating for mere casualness. Some of them are doing it just to while away time. Some of them are doing it because they are in a situationships. You may not know the motive why they are in that relationship. So if you are allowing that to keep you depressed and morose just because you are not in one and they are in one, it is only time for you to realize how that relationship is depressing them, how that relationship is keeping them anxious, how that relationship is magnifying their loneliness. All of these things, they shield from you. So you may not know the nitty-gritties or the tidbits of that relationship. That is why you shouldn't allow that to pressure you. You need to be a man of your own. You need to be a woman of your own decisions and make informed decisions based on accurate researches and accurate qualities on the kind of person you want to be in a relationship with, and not for mere convenience and not because your friends are in one. Because your destinies are different, your life is customized, life is in sizes, men are in differences, and there are different stages in life. So you shouldn't allow the things you see around, the relationships you see around, those you see on social media to actually blur your decision making, else it will end in casualty. Statistically speaking, all these reasons I've given, wrong motive why people enter into relationship, amount to the reason why the relationship doesn't go anywhere or the relationship is not quality, just because people enter into it with the wrong motive. However, as a result, they end up with the wrong person and the thing blows up on their faces. That brings us to the next wrong motive or reasons why people enter into relationships, and that is because of loneliness. People enter into relationships wrongly because they think they are feeling lonely and they need someone as a companion. They need someone to keep them going. They need someone to be keeping up with their vibe and all. But you see, there is a better way to go about handling loneliness than to think that you can get that from a romantic relationships. Because if not for anything, one thing that your romantic relationship does to you is that it amplifies and magnifies who you are. It places a microscope on who you are. So if you are a bitter person, relationship is going to amplify and magnify that. If you are a lonely person, your relationship is going to magnify and amplify that, because you don't want to put the onus or the burden of a relationship and happiness and boredom on another person, for that person to cure you of your loneliness, for that person to cure you of your boredom. What are you also there to do or to help the person with? Relationship is supposed to be a give and take. I'm there to help you, to uplift you, to cultivate you, to bring the best in you. And I trust that hopefully you are also there to do same for me. So if you are only entering into the relationship just because of what you can take from the person, that makes you a leech. Unfortunately, sorry to burst your bubble, that makes you a parasite. That means that you are only there for what you can get and not what you can also contribute to the life of the individual. So if you are entering into relationships because you are lonely, number one, you need to even find out the reason why you are getting lonely and gloomy all the time, so that you can handle all these things before you enter into a romantic relationship. Otherwise, you are going to put too much burden and pressure on this other person just to make you happy, just to make you fulfill, just to give you a sense of belonging, just to give you acceptance. I think it is too much burden to place on an individual. Unfortunately, people put God expectation on individuals. Things that they are supposed to work out on with their relationship with God, they expect another significant other who is equally a human like them to fulfill those needs. And unfortunately, it doesn't. So it blows up on your face. You end up becoming even toxic to the person, just because no matter what the person does for you, it is still not enough. So if you want to handle your loneliness issue, number one, you need to seek companionship and friendships around you. One of the quickest ways to deal with loneliness is to entertain people who are like-minded with you, who are on the same journey with you, who share the same interests with you, who share the same hobby with you, so that both you guys can have fun, you guys can entertain yourself, you guys can enjoy yourself, you guys can undertake projects together. All these things can actually help cure your loneliness. Number two, learn to have a sense of direction and purpose for your life. If you're having a purpose for your life, you will actually be busy with a lot of things, less to think about being lonely. Because you are too busy doing a lot of things for you to even think of getting lonely, because you are even too busier. So you see, loneliness is not always the absence of affection, but loneliness can also be the absence of direction. Purpose is the reason why you are going to meet a lot of people. Purpose is the reason why you wake up every day with something in mind. Purpose is the reason why you wait late in the night, just because you are doing something worthwhile with your life. But if you don't have any sense of direction and purpose, you've not strategically built relationships and companionship and friendships around you, you don't have a unique and a quality relationship with God, then trust me, you are going to feel lonely. In fact, if there is any promise I know from the Holy Scriptures, God says He will never leave us nor forsake us. He will not leave us physically nor forsake us emotionally. So if there is a power-packed guarantee cure against your loneliness, it is your quality and your wholesome relationship with God. Don't think that your romantic relationship can actually cure you of loneliness. The worst thing to be in relationships is for you to be in the relationship and feel lonelier. It is better for you to even be single and lonely and work on your singleness than to be caged in a relationship and still feel lonely. Because like I said, relationships do not cause problems. Relationships do not solve problems. Relationships only reveals who you are as an individual. And if it is because you are lonely, you are definitely going to see that, or your partner is going to see that loneliness playing in the relationship. So you need to pay attention to that. The final reason, wrong reasons why people enter into relationships is for provisions. It's for money. Unfortunately, relationships of our generation has become a poverty alleviation scheme for some. So people want to marry their way out of poverty. People want to relationship their way out of poverty. But like I always say, wealth and riches is not sexually transmitted. Wealth and riches is not sexually transmitted. In a sense that don't think that by making a choice to enter into a relationship with someone just because of the money they have, just because of their status or their wealth, you are going to have an easy route. That is not how it's going to be. If they purchased you like a piece of furniture, trust me, they are going to treat you like a piece of furniture. Unfortunately, some people find themselves in an abusive relationship, but this person is wealthy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that all rich people are abusive. What I'm saying is that if your motive for entering into the relationship is because you want to escape poverty, then that is utterly a wrong route to take. The reason is because even if you sense this person is abusing you, if you sense this person is not emotionally available for you, you are going to struggle to leave them, because you know they are fulfilling a major part of your life need, and that is providing for you financially. So I would rather, the solution for your poverty issue is to reorient your mindset with books, to expose yourself to mentorship and business retreats and forum, and learn to be better at your finances so that it can color the choices you make of a life partner. People compromise their choices, they compromise their standards, they compromise things they will take and not take just because they are trying to run away from poverty. And anyone who comes their way and affords them that bread or affords them that provision or that needs to be fulfilled, they are going to go with that person. You see a lot of university graduates who are being sponsored by men just because they get relationship in return. But actually, they don't love these men. But just because these men are taking care of their fees and providing for them and paying for their hostel fee, what do you expect them to do? So you see, if that person was in a better position financially, they wouldn't have chosen this guy or they wouldn't have chosen this lady. But just because their needs need to be met, they have to find themselves in those unfortunate circumstances. So provisions can be the reason why you want to enter into a relationship. I hear a lot of ladies on social media nowadays saying that if the guy can't give me so and so amount, you can't call me. If you can't give me so and so amount, you can't even take my number. And I'm like, this is rare poverty mindset. Because if you are from a home that is doing well, at least on average, and you have learned to build your finances, you wouldn't be dependent on another man to bring you out of poverty. No. So if you see those ladies saying that, I don't even understand why some men are even attracted to such a ladies if you know you can't take off such a lady. So you see, provisions can't be the only reason why you want to enter into a relationship. You need to pay attention to other core qualities that can actually enhance the betterment of that relationship. Otherwise, you may find yourself in abusive relationships and you are going to expose yourself to the higher bidder. So the one who can provide for you more, you are going to end up with a person. If another person comes and can provide for you better, so your choice of a partner is even skewed and non-nuanced just because you are in a relationship for who can be able to take care of you. If there is anything I know from the scriptures about the Proverbs 31 woman, it says that her price is far above rubies. Her price is far above what money can give. Her price is far above treasures and gold. So have you built value beyond finances? Have you built value beyond provisions? That makes you a Proverbs 31 woman. So that being said, you don't want to lose your convictions just because of a relationship. You don't want to lose your convictions and your standards and your morals just because you want to enter into a relationship anyhow, for you to be treated like trash or to be treated like a piece of furniture. So make your money now. Build your finances now. And I believe that it will actually enhance your options for a romantic relationship. Like I said, if you enter into a relationship with the wrong motive, you are likely going to enter with the wrong person. Godwin Freeman here. Thank you for taking time to watch this YouTube video. I trust it was a blessing. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel